seller's acknowledgements. Basically, this discloses that you didn't leave any details unsaid that may have impacted their decision. It's basically a cover your butt, a CYA letter. And it states here that we, the sellers, you can put both names if it's two sellers, or one if it's just an individual seller, on the day, month, year, agree to, in writing, to sell the property, commonly known as, and you want to have the property address here, to the buyer. Now, this can be either your company name or your personal name, depending upon how far along you are in real estate investing. If you've done a few deals, then you need to get a company. You need to get an LLC. It's just, it just makes sense. You don't want to leave yourself open to any unnecessary problems. But if you're just getting started, go ahead and put in your personal name, the first deal or two. That's not going to be a big deal. Just go ahead and do it and get some cash, and then go ahead and set your LLC up. Okay. And it says assigns according to the terms and conditions contained in the purchase and sale agreement of even date, a copy of which is attached here too. Now, whenever you close, you're going to have a copy of all your documents with you. So you're going to have a copy of the purchase and sale agreement, in addition to any terms you might have placed on there. And one just states that they actually are the owner of the property, and they have an equitable interest in the property, and they're able to contract it for sale. Sometimes people may have a stake in the property, but they don't have authorization to sell it because there's other people involved. If there's 6 owners listed on the property, all 6 of them have to sign in order to convey title to sell it. So they have to be able. So if that's the case, then you're going to need all 6 of them to sign these individually. But whoever is the owner, they have to sign it. If it's a couple, they can both sign this one document. And this one just states that they accept the terms stated on the purchase and sale agreement. That's number 2. Number 3, the good and valuable consideration. It means that they receive good consideration, whether if you agree to put $100 down as earnest money consideration, that they received it. Even if you offered some other consideration, which it doesn't have to necessarily be cash, but some consideration, that they received it, whatever you've agreed upon. 4, it's in my best interest to go ahead and sell, meaning that they're not selling under duress. You didn't trick them. You're not manipulating them. That is selling of their own volition. Number 5, they're fully informed and not confused. Again, this is just to cover you, that the state that they were fully, they're just acknowledging in writing that you didn't mislead them and that they weren't under any misgivings on the nature of the transaction. They're satisfied with the sales price. It's just so that, again, in writing, that they agree to that the sales price was fair, or at least agreeable at that time, or satisfactory, and that was negotiated. And the sale is final. They understand that they cannot back out of it once everything is done. I understand my loan has a due on sale clause, which means the lender could call the loan due and payable upon transfer, which could affect my credit and or financial situation. This part, number 8, is if you are buying it on terms or subject to the existing financing. Now, I'm setting up another course strictly for that. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to check that out. But obviously, if you buy it in that nature, the lender can call the loan due if they're inclined to do so. It doesn't require for them to do so. There's no law, or it's not mandatory, but they have the discretion to do so. So they just have to be aware that that could be a possibility. And if it were to happen, they knew the consequences or of that. 9, this is not a loan. That the agreement I signed is an outright sale of the property. It's not intended of a loan of any kind. The agreement may be assigned. Obviously, again, as I stated earlier, if you have a purchase and sale agreement, you do have options. You could, you may not want to go through the process of, buying the house, fixing it up a little and marketing it. You just may want to go ahead and just flip it to another investor or somebody who's willing to move in the house and as is, and it just wants a quick sale. I understand in number 11, I understand the loan will stay in my name until paid in full, and I have not been promised a specific date that will happen unless so stated in other closing documents. It's basically stating that if you're buying on terms, if you're buying subject to, if you're buying on a wrap, that there is an underlying loan that they originated that's going to stay in their name up until the time in which you have a new buyer who will cash them out once they qualify for a loan. So they understand that the payments will be made as agreed upon, and the loan will stay in their name. One thing on this, guys, I just stress: just make sure the payments are made on time. You're in this to make money, but you want to make sure that they're protected as well. So make sure the payments are made on time. If there's any problems, contact them. They can always check the loan via their phone or online, so they still have the same information, so they're going to know. But you always want to keep things on the up and up on that. Number 12, I understand that the buyer may sell the house with owner financing, and I have no control over its decision to do so. So that's just stating that, again, you have an option to resell the house on owner financing terms to a tenant buyer that will, at some point in the future, again, will cash it out once they qualify. And that just gives you another option, so you're not limited in your exit strategy. Number 13, the buyer's entitled to make a profit. This is just a clear understanding that they know that you're buying it for resale and that you're going to make money on the deal. Sometimes, and if you're in this for any length of time, and as you'll see that it is more psychological than it is material when it comes to real estate. Sometimes people don't want you to profit off their perceived loss or their misfortune. So one thing that I really, really stress up front with people is that, hey, I am buying the house for resale. I'm in it for a profit. Say if there's no reason for me to make a profit, really there's no reason for me to get involved in the property. So this is just stating it in writing and that they understand it in writing. Number 14, legal counsel advised. I acknowledge the buyer has advised me to seek independent legal counsel to review the agreement. That's an option. A lot of people will bluff that they're going to have their attorney take a look at it, even though the attorney may not be a real estate attorney. And I always stress to them that the attorney has no interest in the property, so they really can't tell them what's best for them. They can just outline if it's legal or if it's not. But this just states that they are aware that is an option for them to seek legal counsel. I don't really stress it up front. I say, if whoever you want to have a look at it, take a look. But I don't give them out filled out documents that aren't signed for people to take a look at. The docs have to be signed first, and then I give them a copy, or give them a blank copy. The number 15, a financial review advised, meaning I acknowledge the buyer has advised me to seek an independent financial advisor to review the agreement. That's also an option. If they want to have a financial advisor look at it, they're free to do so. And they're aware that was an option. That's why they're initialing there. And these are initials, in case I didn't state it earlier. Number 16, fairly negotiated. I understand the buyer has negotiated on its own behalf, and likewise, I have negotiated on mine. I acknowledge the agreement has been negotiated fairly, and the buyer has not taken advantage of me or my current situation. So they're just initiating that you didn't put them under duress,